Pecor. I am a realtor in Grand Prairie for Bancroft Realty, and I am going to do a little video today where we're going to talk about the Grand Prairie housing market, the update, just a little update. I was actually looking for another client of mine, and I was pulling some stats and thought it'd be kind of interesting to share what I saw. So this is for September 2022, and I'm sure that you all have been aware that we've been in a bit of a unique situation in the last couple of years when it comes to the housing market and the pandemic. And, there's been a lot of, there's been a lack of houses to buy. There's been a lot of buyers to buy those houses. And as a result, the house prices have gone up really high. And it's been kind of tricky for people to buy things. So I wanted to kind of show y'all what I was looking at with the housing market. So going into this data, well, I'll kind of give you, we'll go into our first piece here. So what you're looking at is, this is just Grand Prairie statistics, and I'm looking from January 2022 to December 2022. So I'm just looking at this particular year, and obviously we're not through the end of September yet. We're only in September, on September the 10th. So as you can see, the inventory, the months of inventory has gone up significantly in September. The way that we measure inventory is in months. So there is a formula to it, but to put it into terms that's easy to understand, if we were to say there'd be no more houses put on the market and we would only sell what's currently on for sale, given the amount of buyers that we have, how many months would we be able to go with houses to sell until we run out? And so you can see that in 2022, it's been 2 or under, which is not great, because the lower your inventory, the higher your house prices and the more of a seller's market that you have. And then the higher the inventory, the more of a buyer's market that you have. So this is, you can see that September shut up. Now, there's a formula that goes into how these statistics come to be, and it does have to do with the number of houses currently on the market versus the number of houses that have sold from the previous year or the previous month. So that could, because we are only in September 10th, that could be why it shut up so high. But that is very interesting, because I did not see that last month. So that is something to consider. Just to give you kind of some perspective, I just went ahead and I pulled the same data for Dallas and for Burleson, and you can see that the inventory shut up in both of those areas too. So it's not just Grand Prairie that this is happening. So just to kind of give y'all an idea of what a healthy range of inventory looks like, a healthy range of inventory is anywhere from 2 to 4 months in the city of Grand Prairie. You can see that for the month of, the 2022 year, we have not been in the healthy range. Just to give y'all some perspective I went ahead and pulled the statistics since January 2022, and you can see that we were kind of a little bit above the 2 until we hit the pandemic, and then ever since then it's been pretty much lower. So, and then we shot up in September. Just to give y'all some perspective on the last 10 years, I went ahead and pulled it from January 2013. You can see right around here, which is January 2018, January 2019, and then kind of a little bit into that year, we were getting into a more healthy inventory. And for the last 10 years, or even 8 years since I've been a real estate agent, around 2013 and then in 2016, it was pretty much a seller's market still. And we were still struggling a lot with trying to find buyers' houses. And then we got into a little bit of a comfortable place. You could still list your house and get what you asked for it, but you weren't going to have, a bunch of offers that were giving you more than what you were asking for. Then we get into the pandemic, and that's a whole different ballgame. And now we're back to having high inventory. Let's look at the average list price for a house in Grand Prairie, and we're only looking from April till now. You're going to be shocked at this. I'm sure a lot of Grand Prairie people are, but the average home price currently in Grand Prairie is at $333,712, which is shocking to a lot of Grand Prairians if you've lived here a long time. I wanted to go back and kind of show you what the average is since the beginning of the pandemic. this is also going to be kind of shocking to you. So when we started back in, this is actually March, we down in April, we went down to about 200 and I don't know, what is that? 240,000. And we've gone up. And now we're sitting at 333,000. So in the last 2.5 years, it has gone up almost $100,000. This is even more shocking. I pulled it for the last 10 years, just out of curiosity. And you can see that we started in 2013 with the average home price of Grand Prairie being $40,000. And here we are. So Grand Prairie has done a fantastic job of getting new people in. And, this also has to do, it's not just that home prices have increased. The average home price has increased. So that doesn't mean that every house has increased. We have also added things like the Peninsula and some of the other more expensive neighborhoods down on the south side of town. So that's going to affect a lot of it as well. But so that's the average home price for a house in Grand Prairie over the last 10 years or so. This is the number of new listings. So I wanted to see, is September on track for how many listings that we have seen throughout the year. So if you're looking for, since August, we had a total of 245 listings in August. And right now we're at about 60. So we're about a third of the way through the month. So you can see that we're a little bit down from where we were in August. We're even a little bit down from where we were in July. We're going to be a little bit more on track to being where we were in January. So that is something to think about. And we just with the number of new listings. Now, if you come over here, this is going to be how the CDOM stands for current days on market. What is the average amount of time that a house is sitting on the market before it sells? And you can see that we're sitting at about 25 days on the market. That's really good. I've seen it up to 30 to 40 before. So 25 is still really, really good. That means that on average, we're selling houses pretty quick. We probably have sold houses to maybe some cash investors or maybe some cash buyers that were able to close quickly, but that is a good sign. It means that houses are not sitting on the market for a long period of time. So moving on, this is the number of sales that we had, number of sales, not the number of new listings, but the number of sales. And again, we're in September 10th, so we're not through the whole month of September, but you can tell we're kind of trending down. In August, we had about 200, and right now we're a little bit less than 50. So we're a little bit of the fourth of the way down. We should be a little bit higher in the month of September. Now, I will say that the fall, once we get into September, is generally a slow time anyway. So that's probably a little bit of the reason behind that. Then I was just curious, how much of an industry, of the real estate industry, does Grand Prairie have? What is our market capture? So as you can see, the highest that we've had so far this year was in May, and we are at about $65 million in real estate sales in Grand Prairie. I wanted to see what it looked like over the last 10 years. So you can see that Grand Prairie has really captured much bigger real estate part of the real estate market. So right now we are at, for the month of September, we're sitting just above $10 million, and we are about a third of the way through. So we might be a little bit lower this month than we have been in the past. So now let's look at closed price to list price ratio. And what this tells us is how much of a percentage did the house of what we asked for, did the house actually sell for? So if we have a very high discrepancy where we had listed a bunch of houses that we constantly had to drop the price to get it to sell, that would be a sign that we were in a declining housing market. But as you can see, the close price to list price ratio for the years of 2022 has remained at 100% or higher, which is a really good sign. So this is my contact information. My name is Jenna Pecor. I am with Bancroft Realty, and this is my telephone number if you would like to get a hold of me. So what does all this mean? And what are my predictions? It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to make predictions on the real estate market, especially in the last couple of years, because you just don't know what it's going to do. So I'm going to give my best guess. So there's a few things that are going on right now that would possibly be feeding into us having some inventory problems and people not putting their houses on the market as much. The average home price has not fallen. There's a lot of good indicators that's saying that we're still remaining in a healthy, in a seller's market. But what does it mean if we start to see that it shifts a little bit more towards the buyer's market? Well, it wouldn't be a terrible thing. People would still be able to get their houses sold for what they want, and buyers could still be able to find what they want if we can remain in the 2 to 4 month inventory range. One thing that might be contributing to the inventory, the over surplus of inventory. Number one, the mortgage industry, the bankers have not been as aggressive as about foreclosing on houses in the last couple of years as they're going to start to be. There are people that are going to be that went through a forbearance on their mortgage, and that just means that they're putting their mortgage payment off. They still have to pay it back. From what I gathered from the data, and I didn't put it in here, the foreclosures doubled from July to August of this year, which I thought was very interesting. So that's going to mean more houses on the market. Another thing that is going to affect people's ability to pay their mortgage, in my opinion, is going to be their property taxes. And a lot of people have their property tax payment into as automatically come out within their escrow account, which also goes into their mortgage payment. But when you have a shortfall, that means that your mortgage payment, your mortgage processor is taking money out in anticipation of your taxes for next year. If they didn't take out enough and your property taxes end up being a lot higher than what they were anticipating, then not only do you have to pay that money back for last year, but you also have the increased amount for next year's assessed value. I think that that's going to cause a lot of people to get behind on their mortgage payments, especially if they did not file a homestead exemption and their home prices went very, very high. That's an issue. So I think that we are going to see some houses unloaded. I think that we're going to see people foreclosed on their houses. I think also for investors who were not able to get a homestead exemption, to see that their home price, their investment properties go up that high is a problem. That's also going to be a problem for renters. So that's something to consider over the next couple of months. You also have the issue of the interest rates, and the Federal Reserve has been increasing interest rates now for the last few months. We don't know what that's going to look like for mortgages, but I'm sure that the mortgage processors and some of these people that are trying to sell you mortgages are going to find some creative ways of offering loans. Let's hope that they don't go back to 2008, 2009. I saw something the other day with an adjustable rate mortgage. Please do not do that. Oh my goodness, please don't do that. But anyway, hopefully, our system starts to balance itself out. We couldn't keep this going for forever where the home prices had gone up so high. We still need to be able to have people to buy houses. So if you're looking to buy a house, now would be a really good time to start, actually, because you're going into the slow season anyways. And it looks like home prices probably are going to start to take a dip. So if you do need somebody to help you, I'm right here for you. That's my name is Jenna Pecor. That's my cell phone number. You've been staring at for the past minute or two. So I look forward to hearing from you.